What is the best scam you have ever come across fell victim to? Supposedly, there was a place that offered cheap sex toys, and they took a crap ton of orders. Pretty soon after, they sent everybody a refund check and an apology, saying they couldn't fill the order. The checks were made out to the person from the anal sex fetish and perversion company. Supposedly, almost nobody cashed their refund check, so the company kept all that money. This was back when many people took their checks to be deposited to an actual human bank teller. Always wondered if it was an urban legend, but thought it was pretty funny nonetheless. Anyone here remember Pixelon? I admit, I sat at my computer and wondered why nothing was coming up. The best scams are the ones that aren't really scams, just rely on people not being educated. Like the people selling Faraday cages to block 5G signals. Back in the 80s, someone had magazine ads out selling wind and solar-powered clothes dryers. People bought it and were shipped a clothesline. Technically, it's not a scam, but it is. But technically, it isn't. One day I showed up to work absolutely miserable about a week after breaking things off with my fiancé. Opened my computer and saw someone was concerned about you and sent you an anonymous e-card. I almost cried because it was so sweet that someone was thinking about me, and I really needed that kind of support at the moment. It was one of those fake phishing emails my company sent out to trick us. I was so fucking mad. But later on in the convo she asked for money, and I thought it was fishy. Now I know instantly when a rando messages me on Insta who wants to marry me, I'll never fall for it again. I know the signs. Had a job interview with a friend who sold insurance. It seemed sketchy already how easy she made it to me. But then I got suspicious when she asked me to pay for the drug test. I had a bad feeling, but I was desperate for a job. My fiancé at the time and two of my friends caught wind and immediately informed me that the business was an MLM scam. I blocked the friend who was trying to get me the job. I read about this one. Some Scotsman, Gregor McGregor, managed to convince a bunch of people he was a prince of a Central American nation, Poi. He managed to convince a lot of people in England to invest in moving out to Poi. Of course, Poi was not a real country, so he got a bunch of investors to move into an undeveloped Central American jungle. I got pretty involved in effective altruism a few years ago. It seems like a great idea, analyzing various charities and giving to those that can save the most lives. I started getting kind of a squicky feeling after a while though, so I eventually stepped away. Found out a year or so later that they're essentially a cult. Online empathy scam. Person posts online pretending to be a person in a bad situation, being harassed. Fake DM screenshots and everything. They never even asked for money. People just offered because they low-key mentioned PayPal and such and made them think it was their idea. Not sure if this is scam. Back in the early 80s, friend tries to go partners with me. Needs $5,000 to buy a machine to make caffeine pills. Like in the back of magazines. Tell him I'm not doing that. Gets the money from his dad. You ever see those 5R energies? That's him. Sold $150 worth of games on eBay. Sent it standard postage rather than tracked, and surprised the beer never received them. Was forced to provide a refund. I even noticed a week later they were reselling one of the games I sent, but eBay didn't give a shit. Mediums. I've never fell for it, but I'm so jealous of people like John Edwards who's very rich. I can do what psychics and mediums do. What easy money now. How do I get started? LOL. Pyramid schemes are obvious traps to us, but not to 16-year-old me when these fuckers came to my high school. Luckily I had no money, and my parents said fuck no more. 20 years ago I fell for that. We just finished installing the sound system at local bar, and had these leftover speakers from a white van in a parking lot scam. The Kirby vacuum. I financed one for $3,500. I got lucky and knew I had 3 days to back out of the deal. I backed out 2 days later. No Vanuum is worth $3,500. Best Buy refund sent a fake invoice to renew a membership I didn't got into my bank account before getting mad at me for being poor. Marriage. Pay for a license to have someone invade your home. Then a few years later pay a larger fee to move them out and they take half your shit. That free trial subscription that automatically charged my car each month forgot to cancel it and got hit with fees like a ton of bricks. Someone told me they'd fix dents in my car right in the parking lot, ended up with a bigger mess than before, like adding insult to injury. Bought tickets from a sketchy online site for a concert, turned out they were fake, like buying air pretty much. Got a call saying I won a huge prize, but needed to pay to claim it. Classic too good to be true story. Soft RAM. Taking the wine in RuneScape. I had no idea what was coming and it taught me a really good lesson. College is a great investment. Employers don't care what kind of degree you have. Got lured for my armor in RuneScape 16 years ago and never fell for another. Betcha $20 I can tell you where you got them shoes. Going into business with a friend. Don't do it. Trust me.